Namaskar. Today we shall talk about global problems and see how the Jain principles help in resolving these problems. First, I just mention the problems. I will not go into the details of these as the time does not permit here. So the global problems are first is global warming, ozone depletion, environmental degradation, pollution, acidification, damaging natural soil complexes, deforestation, general toxicity, species extinction, ecological imbalance. I just mentioned these problems, and we shall now examine how Jain principles and tenets and rules help in environmental protection and reducing other global problems. If you look at the principles and the rules of Jain Darshan, you will find that environmental protection is intrinsic, innate and inherent in Jain principles. It is inbuilt and integrated in every principle, tenet and doctrine. The code of conduct which we studied ensures sustained, congenial, clean, healthy and symbiotically harmonious environment. So the Jain rules and practices have been framed in such a way that the environment is not harmed. The environment comprises of two kinds. One is the natural environment or the physical environment, and another is the social environment. The natural environment, as we know, concerns the condition of water, air, soil, earth and so on, and consequences like greenhouse effect, climate change, droughts, floods, storms, famines, pestilences, etc. So these are all of natural environment problems. The social environment concerns with the relationships between the various people, the various human beings, various families, various groups, various societies and the nations. The relationship between these entities form the social environment. And both these environments are important to us, as both of them interact with each other. So the natural environment affects the social environment and vice versa. The social environment affects the natural environment. Why the environment is deteriorating, or why there is a degradation of environment? If you ask this question, there is only one answer, that only the mankind is responsible for this kind of situation. Other life forms do not affect the environment, They live in harmony with the natural environments, So they are not responsible for whatever is happening to our planet or whatever is happening to our environment on the planet, It is only the human beings which are damaging the environment because of their greed and because of their over-ambitions, So other life forms live harmoniously or symbiotically with the environment. The biggest cause of environment degradation, as far as Jainism is concerned, is the feelings of rag and dvesh. We have these problems of attachment, of greed, of hatred, of jealousy, of animosity and so on. And these are the basic cause or the root cause of all the problems which exist on the planet, in the form of environment degradation, pollution, and other kinds of environmental problems which we have specified. And Jainism as such emphasizes on the reduction of raga and dvesh, kashaya, That is the whole philosophy of Jainism, The one must reduce kashaya. That means one must reduce raga and dvesh feelings, And if that is done, the environment is automatically protected, So there are inbuilt systems in Jain philosophy which takes care of natural environment as well as the social environment. I shall now go one by one on the rules of conduct, the code of conduct which we have specified and studied, how this code of conduct and the rules help in preserving the environment. For example, takes Ahimsa Anuvrat. What does this vrat says? Non-killing, non-hurting of human beings and other beings, So non-killings saves the animals. This is obvious. A large number of species are becoming extinct at a fast rate because of wanton killing of animals for food and other things. How many animals are being killed just for food? You can find this data from Google. And you will be surprised, that the millions and millions of animals are being killed every day. This is disastrous, and this is damaging our whole environment. And if you go into the details of this, how the animal killing is affecting the environment, you will be surprised to see the way in which the environment is being affected because of the killing or because of rearing of the environment just for food. Non-killing also saves other lower organisms, the 1 to 4 or 2 to 4 senses, which are lower organisms. So non-killing will also save those kinds of creatures. These are important for balance. Don't think that they are not useful to us. Every small living being of any kind is helpful to human beings as well as to the environment. So preservation or non-killing of such lower organisms is also very, very important. Vegetation and plants are protected. Jain rules do not permit cutting of trees. It doesn't permit cutting of plants. It does, and the Jains are vegetarian, so they only eat vegetables and fruits and do not cut the trees, do not destroy the trees in any way. They only take vegetables and fruits for eating. So our major cause of environmental degradation is indiscriminate cutting of trees and forests. This is happening not for food, but because the human population is increasing, so you want land for agriculture, you want land for townships and so on. And there is indiscriminate cutting of forests. The forests are becoming also extinct, The forest cover, which must be present on the land is decreasing day by day because of such kind of activities. Then there is large scale use of insecticide and pesticides in agriculture. This is destroying the soil. So it requires judicious use of insecticide and pesticides. In fact, the people are now switching over to organic farming just because of this, that these insecticide and pesticides are getting into our food, and causing so many diseases to us. So this has been traced to the use of insecticide and pesticides, and therefore the scientists are now advising that, look here, you must use consumption of these poisonous things, which are spoiling the quality of soil, and it decreasing the fertility and so on. So judicious use of these things is essential. And from the Jain point of view also, because these insecticide and pesticides kill the living beings, which is never permitted in Jainism. Concept of bhav hinsa is very important. Your thoughts must be pure. The hinsa must go out of your thoughts, You must never think of hinsa or committing violence of any kind, And so long as a bhav hinsa is there, so long as your thoughts are infested with this kind of feeling, you are likely to indulge in dravya hinsa or actual physical violence. And this is what is emphasized in Jainism, that look here, you must insist or have the habit of having bhav hinsa, bhav ahimsa, So you should not think of hinsa, and thereby you can restrain yourself in committing violence, either in family or in society or anywhere in these things. And non-approval of hinsa. We Jainism say that there are three kinds of hinsa. We said earlier, either you commit yourself, you ask somebody else to do it, or consent with somebody third person who is doing it. There are three ways of doing. So because we don't approve of hinsa of any type, so obviously Jain philosophy is for ahimsa in all the way. Then let us see how the aparigraha anuvrat protects our environment. The very concept of aparigraha is that you limit your wants, you limit your requirements, you limit your possessions. So you decide a limit on your possessions. This I said earlier also. Whereas the modern economics says that you must consume as much as possible. There are poles apart. The Jainism say that reduce your requirement, reduce your wants, reduce your consumption. And the economics says no, increase your consumption, have more wants, buy more things. Two things are entirely different. And you know what is happening because of this modern economics, this idea, That is why people have now mooted the idea of non-violent economics, So consumerism is the motto of the day, is the practice of the day, and this is damaging our environment to a great extent, And this must be controlled, so that this can be done only when we exercise restraint on our wants and our requirements, Then Satya Anuvrat, Asteya Anuvrat, and Brahmacharya Anuvrat, Needless to say that they improve our social environment to a great extent, So non-stealing, not telling lie, and exercise control on that follow this practice celibacy, These things are very helpful, because then they do not affect good relations between people, so they improve our social environment. Anekantvad helps in many ways. It reduces conflicts between people, conflicts between groups of people, conflict between societies, conflict between nations, and so on. Because it says that, you must respect others' views, you must respect others' belief system, and so on. So if you do that, they are reducing conflicts, you are avoiding wars, and therefore you are improving the social environment. You are reducing hinsa, you are preventing hinsa, as well as improving the social environment. So Anekantvad is helpful in many ways. Then Anartha Danda Vrat, helps in many ways in modern context. One, say for example, it says that prevent digging, don't unnecessarily dig earth, which implies that if you are digging, you are exhausting the natural resources. So prevent digging to preserve or conserve the natural resources which are exhaustible anyway. So one day if you go on depleting the natural resources at the rate which is taking place now, the time is very near that the all resources will be exhausted. What will happen then is a big question. And this vrat prevents people and nations from trading of weapons. It is said in the Anarth Dand Vrat that you don't supply arms to others for hinsa. That means weapons, and trade weapon is the biggest weapon on earth today. The major part of the budget of any country is going towards defense, towards arms procurement, and so on. So the Anarth Dand Vrat says that no, trading of arms must be stopped or must be minimized. And if that is done, obviously there will be limited number of wars or no wars. Prevents wastage of water, which is scarce commodity. That is inbuilt into the Jainism, that water is also life, and therefore the minimum use of water. Preventing enkindling of fire, because the fire also is a living being in Jainism. So minimum fire, which means save fuel, because how the fire is taking place because of fuel. So consume less fuel, save fuel, and that is the requirement. Otherwise also, you must use as less petrol, as less oil, and so on, and also less of wood, because for want of wood, the people are cutting forest, which is not good. Save electricity. That everybody can do in your own house. Please see to that your lights are off when they are not required, your fans are off when they are not required. Use as less as the heating devices, the air conditioners, and so on. Save electricity. Do not burn trees and forests. That is not good. You are committing hinsa as well as spoiling the environment. Bhoga Upabhog Parinam Vrat enjoins everyone to reduce his wants and thus reduce consumption. So as I said, that you must set a limit to your own consumption, and that way you control the consumption of goods. Care in movement. This is also enjoined on all Jain followers, that when you are walking, be careful. And this nowadays implies that you should be careful and you should take care to follow the traffic rules, so that you take care in your movement. And if you follow the traffic rules, there will be less of accidents. The accidents have become so common these days on roads, on rail, and so on, that unprecedented number of deaths are now taking place because of accidents on roads and so on, which can be avoided if you take care of the rules. Most of the accidents take place because the rules are not followed. So the Jainism enjoins that please be careful when you are traveling. Care in disposition of waste. It means what? It means proper disposal of sewerage. The sewerage, which is produced in every house, must be properly disposed. This, of course, is the duty of the municipality or the municipal council, but it must be done anyway, whether you are at your end or at the municipal end. So it must be properly discharged, and it should not be discharged in the rivers and lakes. And unfortunately happening in our country. All the rivers are now polluted, all lakes are now polluted because of this negligence, that we are not taking care in proper discharge of sewerage. Nowadays, many municipal corporations are coming forward to make sewage treatment and so on, which is a good thing and must be done everywhere. Proper treatment of effluents, The industries produce a large number of effluents, which are so toxic, if they discharge in water, in lakes and so, they will pollute water. If they discharge in land, they pollute the groundwater. So the proper discharge means, that the effluents must be treated first, and then the remaining things must be discharged. So the effluent treatment must be emphasized very particularly. Recycling of wastes like drain water, paper, plastic, etc. They must be recycled. The recycling must be a regular practice. Even our own house, the garbage must be properly disposed. You must collect garbage at a particular point and discharge it the way the municipal corporation has described the method. So you must follow the rules prescribed by the municipal corporation and properly dispose of the garbage so that the roads and the surroundings are kept clean. Another concept which I would like to talk is Parasparo-Groho Jivana. This is very much emphasized in Jain philosophy. It says that you are interdependent. You are all interconnected. All life is interconnected. It does not confine to human beings only. It refers to the entire form of life, any kind of animals, any kind of organism, lower organism, right down to bacteria. All these forms of life are interconnected, and in fact they all help human beings to live properly. If these life forms did not exist, the human being will not survive. Take for granted, human beings survive only because of the lower organisms, because of plants, because of trees, and because of bacteria. I just read out the lines here. So mineral supports our physical beings, We live on this earth. The earth is supporting us. Plants provide oxygen, purified air and food, and imbibe solar energy for us, they integrate it into physical existence. The solar energy is being made use of by plants, and because of that we survive. Most insects work for pollination, spreading seeds or cleaning, and innumerable microscopic beings play an indispensable role in the recycling processes. The decomposition of waste is done by bacteria. If that bacteria is not working, what will happen to your cleanliness? It's a big question. I have given a good example here. One particular microorganism living on continental flats along the world's coast is largely responsible for ozone balance in the upper atmosphere. It is very, very, very little known in the public, that your ozone layer is being protected by these small beings, and if the ozone layer is depleted or it's not protected, what will happen to us, the human beings? So look here, the way these small organisms are protecting and make us survive. So how much credit they must have, and how much grateful you must be to these lower organisms. Bacteria play important role, in our biochemical and physiological activities, like digestion. Your food is digested because of bacteria. Your skin health is maintained because of bacteria. The soil fertility is maintained because of bacteria. The atmospheric nitrogen fixation is done because of bacteria. How much good work these small beings are doing, and what we are doing? We are cutting trees. We are damaging the environment in so many ways. We want to have our comforts, so you want to consume many things, You change your mobile not because the mobile is not good, but because a new model has come in the market. Now, how much damage we are doing to the environment by this kind of choice? Please think. So Jainism is against anthropocentric approach. So you should not think only of human beings and the welfare of human beings and good of human beings. You should consider the entire life form. See, every living being has a right to live, whether it is a bacteria or a tree or a mosquito or a dog, and they all have a right to live. So you should not come in way of such thing, and you should not damage the environment to the extent that these things are killed. Animals are becoming extinct, birds are becoming extinct, bacteria are being killed, and new kinds of bacteria are being born and so on because of the environmental changes. So we the human beings have the greatest responsibility to protect the environment, to protect the mankind, and protect the life forms. Thank you.